Hi, welcome back to another edition of Political Points on SooNews.ca. We're on the Thursday, February 24th edition, and we have the best in political and my guests give you the insight and flavor of this community. And my guest on today's edition is Ian MacMillian, the Executive Director of Tourism Sault Ste. Marie, which is a division of the EDC. Ian, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Andy. Nice to be here.
And a little bit about tourism. I keep hearing, Ian, that, well, we're geographically disadvantaged and handicapped. And can you speak to that in terms of what you're seeing on your end, as far as the geographical location of this community?
Well, we always hear that when we're bidding on major conferences or sports tournaments and competing against cities in Southern Ontario. But what we try to do is really turn that around and use it to our advantage, that, people can hold conventions or meetings in any large city in Southern Ontario, but when you come to Sault Ste. Marie, you kind of get the best of both worlds. You're on a community that's on the edge of Lake Superior. We have beautiful outdoor opportunities with some of the best accommodations in the province and some very unique meeting venues and some nice attractions. So we balance off our distance from the marketplace with some of the things that we have to offer that are much more unique than just anywhere in Southern Ontario.
Well, I was born and raised in Toronto. I've been here for 20 years, and I'll tell you, I would not go back. I've always said we could do a better job with decentralizing, promoting to companies and, the MPP and the MP and stuff like that, and getting companies to move up. Their workforces would be better, happier here. Are we doing that with tourism to try and get decentralization of whatever and improve that kind of thing? Can that work for tourism?
Well, sure. I mean, if you think back in the 80s when David Peterson was in power and they, decentralized a lot of their opportunities, and we ended up with the Lottery Corporation here in Sault Ste. Marie, and that proved to be an amazing asset to us. So yeah, I mean, there's many types of opportunities. Where we're focusing on in terms of tourism Sault Ste. Marie is we've had some challenges, as you know, from the U.S. Since 9/11 of bringing the consumer, just the general traveler, into our community. But where we've really made up some grounds is the whole meeting, convention, sports tournament. As you know, we've really excelled since we've had the SR Center by attracting some really, national and international sports tournaments to our city, and that's an area where we continue to really ply our trade.
Now, in tourism, of course, being a border city, it's great for Canadians when the Canadian dollar's high. You can go and buy gasoline or whatever. But I guess the challenges continue to be that 2 million Americans don't cross the Mackinac Bridge to come into the UP, the Canadian dollar, and just generally, how are we addressing those as far as tourism is concerned?
Well, one of our biggest challenges over the past 10 years now, as you know, has been the issue of the passport. And the American, most Americans never had a passport. They didn't need one. They didn't have one. They didn't realize that they had to get one. So now that the whole Homeland Security and the border issues it's been 10 years, and they're starting to get it, the wheel's starting to turn, that if they want to travel outside of the four walls of the continental United States, anywhere in the world, they're going to need a passport. So for the first time last winter and a little bit this past summer, we've seen a growth in the U.S. market, which is, encouraging. It's small, but at least it is pushing in the right direction. So the passport issue is probably the major issue and an impediment for U.S. travelers to Canada. Now, you had mentioned the exchange rate. Certainly, it was a much easier sell when their dollar was worth twice what ours was. But again, it's all relevant. What we have to sell now is, as opposed to being perhaps a bargain destination, we have to promote ourselves as being a quality destination. So you're getting quality for the dollar spent. And again, I hark back to my comments earlier in the show that we are situated in some of the most spectacular world-class outdoor opportunities. And what's our really unique selling feature for the consumer? It's our Agawa Canyon train tour. And as you know, we've been working very hard to get that tour train upgraded, and with the $10 million coach equipment and the $1.02 million audio video technology put on board, we think we're really enhancing our number one reason why consumers will come to this area.
How much of a problem is Bay Street and Queen Street going one way, Queen going west and Bay Street going east? Does that have an effect on tourism? I've heard that, people just drive right out of town and don't stop.
Well, I think that's an interesting question, and I don't know whether there's been real true surveys to determine that. But I will say that a few years ago, recognizing the importance of directional signage, we worked with the Chamber of Commerce and all the major attraction partners. And as you notice, when you do drive through our city, there are some good directional signage, no matter if you're on Wellington or Pym Street or Queen Street, directing people to the tour train or to the Bondar tent or those types of things. So signage becomes key, no question about it, and critical. But whether the one-way flow of traffic affects people, when the bridge building gets realigned,
right.
I mean, that's going to make things even more interesting, because for sure it will carry the truck traffic right out of town, kind of the back route, and it'll open the door for the consumers and the general public to be able to come, you know, down onto Bay Street and Queen Street.
With my daughter being at Laurier and Waterloo, I've done a lot of traveling between Southern Ontario and up here. Can we do a better job of advertising our community on the I-75? Would that help tourism?
You know, it's again, that's a very good point. Years ago, we used to have a billboard, series of billboards all the way down I-75 to try and capture some of the cars and that were traveling. It's an interesting point. When you do outdoor advertising, it's hard to really quantify the success. You know, for example, X million of people go by the message, but how do you quantify the return on investment? We're finding that most of the advertising that tourism and I guess business in general are doing are really more focusing to online, because you can really target audiences that you want to using the online tools, whether it's, you know, websites or email blasts or making use of Facebook and unique opportunities that way. Being
that 2011, we can do a lot more things than we couldn't do 40 years ago.
No question about it. You know, Tourism Sault Ste. Marie a year or two back started a Facebook page, and you know, we have they've changed the title, so I apologize for not being up, but it used to be called Friends of. I think it's visitors or what, likes now. But we have over 12,000 people that visit that Facebook site about Sault Ste. Marie and make all kinds of amazingly positive comments about our community. So it's really encouraging. Ian,
thank you very much. I'm getting the red light. Thank you for coming. And tourism is an exciting subject, and we'll have you on the show again.
My pleasure. Love to come back.
That's Ian MacMillian. He's the Executive Director of Tourism Sault Ste. Marie. It's a division of the EDC. And that's the show for Thursday, February 24th. Have a great weekend. We'll put political points, the politics aside, on Monday's show, the February 28th. The next show, Susan Hunter joins me for a special anniversary broadcast. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you then.